Hello, everybody. I am so excited. This is our first interview for the 2022, and I cannot wait to dive in and introduce you to Melanie Wood. Melanie, hi. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Laura. I'm super excited as well to be here. Thank you so much for having me and being able to share some amazing goodness about Profit First.
I'm always up for that kind of conversation. So let's dive right in.
Yes.
The whole purpose of this is one, to find out a little bit about you, but what happened in your Profit First journey and how did you come across it and what are some of the differences? So let's start with, who are you? What do you do? And why Profit First?
Yeah. So I'm Melanie Woods. I'm founder of my business Speaking Style. So I help business owners to be able to gain that clarity and confidence to speak about you, speak about your business, be able to do that on camera or in person. And it's something that I am so passionate about, helping people to have a voice in this world, because I believe that we can create an impact that creates a ripple effect in this world to really help more people and make a difference in the world. And someone who absolutely was petrified of public speaking, to now be able to teach other people how to do that as well is something that I'm so passionate about, because again, as most of the population are as petrified as I have been in the past, and being able to overcome that in a way of now being able to help other people, and I have such a deeper understanding to overcoming that fear and helping people to do the same. So I've been in my business, I think, coming up for 5 years as well this year. So yeah, it's something that I'm so excited to be able to share and work with more people as well.
Beautiful. 5 years. It's definitely a milestone, that 5-year mark. Have you always had Profit First implemented in all of these 5 years?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So Profit First for me came into my life December 2020. And prior to that, and maybe with a lot of other people, I started a business. I had no idea really how to start a business. I had no idea about the finance side of things. I just got started because my mission was to help people. So we kind of forget about the other parts of it, because I was just so driven, and still am, to help people. And I just wanted to be able to work with people, and just kind of thought, if I don't look at those things,
sort itself out,
it will be fine.
Yeah. So, and was it?
No.
Do you mind diving in a little bit about that? Like, what made you, were you looking for an answer to something, or did Profit First happen to just, be in your network? How did you come across it, and why? Why Profit First?
So I suppose I must have, I'm in 2020, when everything happened, I started to set myself a goal of, I wanted to be able to register for GST. So I always had this goal of, I felt like I had made it in business when I registered for GST, when you actually get to the threshold. So I had then worked that out and set myself a goal of, $6,000 a month to be able to make in order to make that happen that year. And things started to progress in my business, and I was starting to be able to get to that point. And then I think November, around about end of November, beginning of December, somebody had tagged Najma Khan from Profit First into a group of someone who'd been obviously some problem that they had. And I kind of thought, well, it sounds like the same problem that I have. And I went along and stalked Najma. I know that she's on. And next minute, I was over our website booking in a call, and thought, I feel like I need to ask, because then it was obviously in terms of, I knew that if I got to that threshold, that I wouldn't have any clue what I was doing in my business. And I just thought I started to need support, because it's not something that's my forte. My forte is helping people. Finances is not. Again, it's not something even in school that I really took to be able to deal with, but it just wasn't my forte. And I honestly thought if I didn't look at it, the depths of what was going on would just disappear as well.
Okay, great. So you were experiencing some growth, and you thought, well, if you hit this threshold, you're not going to know exactly what to do, so that'll be a good time. But what were you experiencing? What were some of the, challenges that you were experiencing at the time when you booked that call to have that conversation with Najma?
So I had one account, and that was for business and personal, which I'm sure you probably already know that that's for a lot of us, and it's an absolute nightmare. So those are those things that I didn't know about separating. It was everything was going through the one, and I think I thought if I then go to the threshold to then GST, I actually have no idea how I'm going to do all of that. And obviously there was some debt there. There was just a lot of things that I didn't know. And I just knew that there was no way I was going to be able to grow and scale my business without actually opening that box and having a look at it. But there was no way that I was game to do it by myself. So yeah, getting on that call, and I'm a big believer in divine timing, that I knew that it was just led up to getting on that call with Najma, and and being able to talk about this is my situation, and basically how do I sort it out.
How long did it take for you to feel like you knew what should be happening or what you had been doing that needed to change?
And the good thing about Najma, and we've obviously worked together for some time now, is that she's very good at knowing, I think, her individual clients. So she knew me very well with, I needed it to be one step at a time. As much as I wanted to have a business account, like I wanted it, yesterday, Najma will definitely say, I definitely was like, but I just want it done now. But I also just needed step by step. And she was able to give me that blueprint of, these were the steps that we're needing to take in order to make that happen. It's not necessarily overnight. We need to make these small changes to be able to make that happen. And a lot of that, it was overwhelming, and not to do with anything profit first. It was just because I was then having to look at everything. So everything was then, put down in terms of expenses and business, personal. Like, we really had to be able to open a lot of that up. And that was then a moment of, when you see it for yourself, can bring a lot of shame and guilt of I meant to have a business here and I don't even know sums and numbers and percentages. It's then trusting in someone to basically say, I'm not very good at this.
That's a big thing.
Be really vulnerable about it as well, and think that from people in an outsider, they see me in a very different way, but behind the scenes, it's those leg tables are, pretty undone.
And I think a lot of us are in that situation, and it's the hardest step is to say, I need help. And so you did that. And we're now a couple of years down the track from when you first picked up that phone and had that conversation. What has changed for you?
So what has changed for me is I have a better a deeper understanding of finances. I feel more confident to open up my bank account and look at it as well. And obviously now having separate accounts has made it a lot easier, but I have more of an understanding of, the GST to income tax to, being able to have all of those different accounts and understand it more, and have profit. Profit is really important in business, and it wasn't something that I knew about until I'd heard about profit first. It was just money came in, money went out. There was actually no profit in my business prior to coming to work with Profit First. So, those are things I now have a deeper understanding. I now have the steps that I can take. As soon as money comes in, I'm over there. Najma will say the same. I'm in there straight away. I get my spreadsheet out and I do all the percentages, and I put everything where it needs to be. So doing all that has given me just so much more confidence. And again, a profitable business as well. I would never really have, as much as my goal was getting to GST, getting to 75,000, then my next goal was maybe I could have a 6-figure business. That would be amazing. But again, I didn't think it was possible for me, because that's more money than I've ever earned, even in a job. So then last year, being able to hit 6 figures. But again, if I hadn't have had Najma and Profit First, I wouldn't have been able to do that and do it in the right way as well. So that has been a massive, massive thanks to Najma. And again, it's not even just the Profit First system. It's the fact that Najma has went above and beyond to help me every step of the way, and that is second to none, because you then have that personalization, and she has really worked so well with me of knowing and understanding, where I am with it and helping me overcome some of those fears. She's been there at the other end of a Zoom call when I've had happy tears, when I've had sad tears, and all of those things that come with business as well. And I really owe it so much that I was meant to cross paths with Najma and Profit First, and something I'd never heard of Profit First before. Never heard.
I love that. And it's so common that where, it's like, I didn't know about Profit First. And then I met someone who, deals with Profit First, but it's not just about the methodology, as you now know. A lot of people have this perception that it's a cash flow methodology and it's about setting up bank accounts. And if you just move money around the bank accounts, everything would work out. What would you say to that?
I would say it's not. It comes back to mindset. Because again, we all have mindset. Like I always say to Najma, like I was always told about money doesn't grow on trees. It was saved for a rainy day. Like all of those things I was brought up with. So I had a very restricted mindset around money. So even to go to those levels, like I had to work a lot on myself. But, Najma really helped me along the way. So I say, we can have spreadsheets and we can do all of these things. But in order for a business to grow and scale, we also need to have that money mindset as well around it. And I would say that I wouldn't have had that if it hadn't have been for Profit First, to be able to really be there for me every step of the way in order to, particularly when I had that really quick burst of growth when I started working with Profit First. Like that was super scary and exciting all at the same time. And, Najma was always there for me throughout that entire process. I mean, she still is. I still work with Najma today. And really just having that person in your corner and in your, as your cheerleader is just absolutely amazing. But I wouldn't have been able to do it if somebody had just given me, I know that there's the book. I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself.
Absolutely. And the book is definitely a tool for those that want to, consume information that way. But you're right, it is a mindset. And one of the things that you mentioned before was that you had set goals around income targets to get to a certain, revenue. Once you implemented Profit First, how did that change for you?
It massively changed me, I suppose, again, coming back to mindset, but it also came back to the fact that, then I had profit, then I had and then it's like when, bills came in, when GST is due, when all of these things are due, and income tax as well. It's like, I just have money and I can go on and pay it. It's not like I'm sitting here going, right, where am I going to get this from? Like, how am I going to pay this? Am I going to have to go on a payment plan? It's just the confidence there to go, GST is due. I need to do my tax return. The money is there. We're ready to go. So that has been a massive game changer for me, to just have that there and not have to worry about it as well.
Absolutely. And I guess what I've noticed with the Profit First information that I've done in not only my business, but with other clients, is that once you have your buckets of money that have a particular purpose, and it can look different for every business, it becomes so much easier to understand what revenue you actually need. Yes. And therefore your income targets are meaningful. Did you find the same?
Yeah, definitely. So once we had done that, and then obviously then you start looking at expenses personally and within business. So being able to work through what do I need as my baseline to be able to be earning each month? And then looking at that. And also, I suppose, knowing that it's okay in business. Sometimes we don't always make it in that month, but we might have another month where we do double. And these are things that happen for me. So again, understanding that and then being comfortable with, there might be some ebbs and flows within your business, but you still have that target. So it definitely is always in the back of my mind to then go, okay, this is going to be a season where it's really, really full on, my income is really good, but then I have other months again throughout the year that we know it's going to be a little bit quiet. So then we can then look at being able to look at ways in which to obviously then balance that out when that happens. Because again, as business owners, we still want to be able to have time off and have a break and not feel like we're constantly going, but what if I don't meet that target at that time? And Najma has been really good with me, because I have had moments like, but I didn't meet my target last month. Everything's going to fall down. So, all of those things as well. So again, it's just, understanding that and continuing to look at your own mindset, but having a profit first person that you can call on for help, and just to talk it through as well, and ask for help when you're going through that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just noticing there's some comments on the live feed, specifically around someone's mentioned coming from a recent barefoot conversation for my personal finances and seeing how it works. I wanted to do the same for my business. How is the US model different to the Australian model? I'll answer that in a second. And then there's a conversation about if you take profit, and I'm going to ask you about your profit as well, Melanie, that how can you do that without incurring additional tax? And so I do want to talk to that for a minute. So your structure is a sole trader, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that almost makes it quite easy, because whatever you earn is yours, and therefore the tax around that is based on that. And I guess where this person's coming from is, if you have a company or a trust structure, it's a very different tax thing. If I can take a moment to just answer that question, I'll then come back and talk about your profit, if that's okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, in terms of taking profit out of the business, there can be tax incurred, and that's why it's really important that your accountant, if you're not working with a profit first professional who's also an accountant, is involved in these conversations, because it is absolutely doable to have the profit first framework in place and have that profit account and take those distributions, whether it is as a director or it stays within the business and you do other things with it. The point is there's going to be tax regardless. And so it's not just about looking at only the tax portion when you implement Profit First. It's about the whole picture. What do you need personally? How does that look like? What are the tax implications? Is it better to keep, if you're in a trust structure, is it better to, it needs to be distributed to beneficiaries anyway. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty right now, because this particular conversation is about Melanie's experience. However, I do want to say that it is absolutely possible, and you don't necessarily incur additional tax, because, and it also highlights the need to work with someone who understands that as well. Because there are ways to work with your accountant to minimize that and still use the profit first framework, so that you can, you know what you're spending in your business, you know what revenue you need to generate, and you know what to do with your profit. So on that note, can we talk about your profit for a second, Melanie?
Definitely. Let's go.
So you mentioned that you were not profitable when you first, started working with Najma. What's changed, and what do you do with your profit percentage?
Well, at first, again, it comes back to, I'm originally from Scotland, I live in Australia. It was definitely at first, it was sitting there, that block of money in profit. And eventually Najma had to call me one day and say, you need to reward yourself and spend some of your profit. Go and do something with it. I went, really? I can just take money out and go and do something with it. It's like, but are you sure? Is that going to be okay? Nothing will happen if I spend something. And she said, yes, please go and do something. And I did. I ended up, I got my, I had maybe a spa morning and went for a massage. And that was all I felt comfortable with doing, that I felt, oh, my business can reward me. Are you sure? So again, that took me a little bit of help and support around, not having that mindset of, but it's only for a rainy day. Why would I go and get a massage just because I felt like it, to do that? And then ever since, that's something that I now reward myself each month. I have a day where I reward myself and my business rewards me, and I take time out for me and be able to do that. And now I'm starting to think, okay, now looking bigger picture, and I'm now looking at different things that I would like to be able to then use my profit for, because I've got comfortable with, every month spending just little pockets on myself to do something for myself. But it's now really thinking of, what other things could I then do with that profit as I'm getting more comfortable with having it there, and being able to spend it as well.
Absolutely. And for those watching, the profit account isn't just about keeping profit in the business or taking it out personally. It's also about creating that vault account where you're creating that buffer in your business. So if the worst was to ever happen, you can continue to trade, which so many people are not in the position to be able to do. And then, of course, within that, and one of the biggest things that we hear is that profit first, when you implement it, doesn't help with growth. And from what you've said, Melanie, that's definitely not the case that you have seen. And the profit account can be very much used, a portion of that to create another account around growth as well. And so I guess, where are you heading with Profit First? What's your next step? So you've got your account set up. What's next for you?
Yeah, so for me, I suppose, is then growing and scaling my business more. So again, in that, I do need to then bring on some more like team member to be able, in order for me to scale, because I'm only one person. There's only so much that I can do as well. So again, that's something within the Profit First framework, is then, yes, to start having then account to then put money in, to then be able to do that, to then bring someone on to be able to help me, because that's like the next level of going up of, can I afford to have someone be able to come and, work for me as well? So that's something that Najma and myself have discussed as well. So that would be my next stage of looking to do.
Fantastic. And do you think you'd ever would have been in the position to know whether you could afford someone or not?
No, definitely not. There's just no way, with the way in which I used to run my finances prior to Profit First. No, there's just no way that I would even know that I had money in order to do that, or how to even scale it in a way and then have that profit and be able to have buffers. I wouldn't have known how to do that.
Fantastic. Well, that's really exciting, because once you know whether you can afford to hire someone, then you can look at what the potential of revenue is and how that's going to, grow your business and that sort of stuff. There was a question there that's like, what's different with the implementing Profit First in Australia versus the US? And I just want to talk to that for 1 second. Yep. So the framework is similar in the way that the similar bank accounts, those bank accounts don't change. What does change is how we use the bank account. So the tax account will be a different percentage to what is in the book. It may be that as the starting point for people. It'll depend on each of the businesses, how it's starting. If you're at a loss, there's no point putting 20% tax away, because there is going to be that journey of moving from loss position to making that profit. And so it is about knowing which percentages to increase and what percentages to change. So the tax percentages are different in Australia compared to the US. And so Profit First Australia and New Zealand and the Profit First professionals know all of this and can offer this support. We also have these resources available and blogs on our website as well. The other thing that is really important to know is that your personal situation needs to come into it. So yes, it's a business framework, but ultimately you are the owner in your business. And so you've mentioned a couple of times, Melanie, and this will probably be my last question to you. I know I've been asking all sorts of questions. What did you realize personally, or what had to change in your business to allow for your personal life and your goals there?
So personal life, I suppose, was looking at, what do I want to achieve in my personal life? And my biggest thing was, and I do want to share this as our last thing, because I was saying to Laura before, it was such an exciting news and it wouldn't have been possible without Profit First, was, I've been in Australia for 8.5 years. I've been renting a lot, and, it can get tiresome. And, in the last couple of years, because of everything that's happened, I've moved around a lot because of different circumstances. And personally, I've had this goal that I wanted to be able to buy my own place, but I just didn't think that would be possible with, in terms of being in a new country, to then coming out of a job, to then starting a business. Like, my finances just were not the way that they would need to be in order for that to happen. But my exciting news is, and definitely to Najma and to Profit First, is that I've just recently bought my own place and I move in 2 weeks' time. And
that's so exciting.
It just would not have been possible without Profit First. And Najma has went above and beyond to help me get everything over the line and do all the things behind the scenes to make this happen. And yeah, I'm so blessed, and I just wouldn't have thought that this would all come as quickly as it has based on doing that. So that's an amazing personal goal that I had, and to be able to move into my own place in 2 weeks, I really do thank Profit First for coming into my life, and particularly Najma, who I know is on. If it wasn't for her helping me along the way, it just would not have been possible to display the finances that needed to be put towards the bank.
That is super exciting. And I did not know that that's what you were going to share. So that's really, really cool that you share that. And thank you for being such an open book with your experience with Profit First. And I would love for, if anyone wants to know a little bit more about Melanie and what she does, we'll post in the comments and with this recording where you can find Melanie. And thank you so much for spending the time with us too. We will have additional interviews coming up around, other people's experiences. So for those of you that ask the questions about company and trust structures and that sort of thing, we will be speaking to people that run their businesses, in a different entity, and what Profit First looks like there as well. But thank you so much, Melanie. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much, Laura, for having me. So excited to be able to share this and share some stories that what's possible for other people as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again. And I hope to catch you all on the next interview. Have a great day and congratulations.
Thank you.